Most remodelers are flying blind when it comes to their marketing. I'll show you how to jump ahead of 95% of the competition.
I'm Spencer Powell, CEO at BuilderFunnel. We're on our way to generating $1 billion in revenue for our clients. Hit subscribe to follow along.
Marketing is most confusing when you aren't tracking it. I was talking to a remodeler the other day, and he said that he didn't think marketing worked. He told me that he had tried lots of different tactics: Google ads, SEO, Facebook and Instagram ads, and even some radio ads and direct mail. And he said none of these tactics worked. I could feel his frustration through the computer. As the conversation continued, I asked him the following questions. How long did you try each of these tactics for? What audience were you trying to reach? What was the call to action? How were you tracking your efforts? And when we hit that last question, he said that he wasn't. He was expecting his phone to ring more, but he felt like it wasn't. Making good marketing decisions on a feeling is a typical recipe for a disaster. Today, I want to walk you through how we track our marketing efforts. Step number 1 is deciding what you're going to track. In marketing, there are dozens and dozens of metrics that you can track across numbers of different channels, anywhere from comments and shares on social media to clicks and conversions on your website. We're going to simplify the list to the high-level metrics that you must track at a minimum. You can track more than these metrics, and that will help you make decisions at a micro level, but none of that matters if you get the big stuff wrong. So let's start at a high level. What do you need to be tracking? Traffic, leads, and sales. Traffic is typically traffic to your website, but it also could be walk-in traffic. We need to know how people are coming to you. Now let's look at a breakdown of traffic sources. As you can see, there's a breakdown of where traffic is coming from, whether that's organic search, meaning Yahoo, Google, and Bing, or paid social, meaning social media ads like Facebook and Instagram, paid search, Google ads, or email marketing, and so on. Next up is leads. This could be a form submission on your website, a direct call to your business, or somebody that sends in a personal email to you or someone on your team. If someone calls or emails in directly, you'll need to ask this person how they found out about you. However, if it's a digital channel, we can track it automatically. Here's what that looks like. New contacts are new leads into the system. And finally, customers. Once a deal closes, let's go back into the system and mark it as a closed deal. This will tie back our original marketing efforts and show us conversion rates throughout the funnel. In this example, you can see 16 customers are tied back to organic search, and 4 customers are tied back to paid search. Each channel, you're able to tie back the number of customers and who they were and project amounts back to the original marketing channel. Now, we use HubSpot to track all of this. That isn't required software, but you do need to find a solution that gives you traffic, leads, and customers. Because if you're not tracking to this level of detail, you won't be able to make good marketing decisions. At this point, I've probably looked at well over 100 remodelers' Google Analytics, and they have conversion tracking set up so they can see traffic converting to leads. When you look at that leads column in your Google Analytics, you can't see the names of who those leads actually are. So you can see things like raw numbers of 1,000 website visitors and 30 lead conversions. But when I ask, who are those 30 leads? They aren't able to tie back the number 30 to any specific names or email addresses. That means they have no idea which customers came from what channel. That creates 2 major problems. Number 1, you don't know what part of your marketing is working or not working. And number 2, you can't attribute revenue to any marketing channels. Take a look at this chart again. On the surface, you might think direct traffic is the best channel, driving the most customers, but maybe organic search drove the most revenue and best types of customers. The only way we can uncover that is by drilling into those 16 customers from organic and looking at the revenue tied to those customers. Okay, so if you don't have this in place yet, I recommend that you finish the video first and then come back to this section. You want to ensure that you've got the right tracking technology to capture this type of data: traffic, leads, and sales. Once you got this data, you're a couple of calculations away from being able to calculate your ROI. The next step is to figure out how to calculate your cost to acquire a customer. We'll do that by adding up all of your marketing and sales expenses for a given time period. I recommend using the last calendar year or maybe a trailing 12 months timeline. Now take that total and divide it by the total number of customers that you closed during that same time period. If you spent $100,000 on marketing and $100,000 on sales, you'd have $200,000 in total. And if you closed 25 customers, you'd have a cost to acquire a customer of $8,000. Next, we want to know your gross margins and average project size. Let's say your average project size is $100,000 and your average gross margin is 35%. That means a customer is worth $35,000 to you. And if your cost to acquire a customer is $8,000, then you're just over a 4-to-1 ratio. Not bad. Now we want to dig into that $100,000 that you spent on marketing. For simplicity, let's say you spent $50,000 on Google Ads and another $50,000 on SEO and content. You uncover that Google Ads drove 8 customers. Content and SEO drove 12 customers. In that case, you'd have a different ROI for each channel. 8 customers times $100,000 equals $800,000. 12 customers times $100,000 equals $1.2 million. If you spent the same amount on each channel, you might look at increasing your budget for content and SEO, or reallocating the budget depending on your goals. If you like your cost to acquire a customer number of $8,000, you can just push harder on your better performing marketing channels. This will actually lower your cost to acquire a customer over time. If you don't like where that cost to acquire a customer number is, the first thing you want to do is look at maybe shifting marketing budget from a lower performing channel to a higher performing channel. Or you can work on improving a channel before you increase the budget. Unless a channel is totally bombing, you probably want to work on improving the channel before cutting it altogether. At the end of the day, it really comes down to 2 things. First, you need to set up and track your data. Next, we run a couple of math equations. From there, it should be pretty obvious what decisions need to be made with your marketing. Have any questions? Leave a comment below, and we'll see you next time here on Builder Funnel TV.